Good morning here from Angra dos Reis in Brazil. Um, Early morning is always a good time for me to have some philosophical thinking. And this morning, what came to my mind was, what is the deepest desire of what we can agree most people have? And I think it's security. Security in respect to, of course, money, but then also health, relationship, having security about a consistent level of happiness. And I think we can agree that's the reason why we have gods in our life, why we pray to God, or why we pray to a whole pantheon of gods, or why we believe in the existence of God, because we hope that this God or gods will give us what we look for and protect us, that we have it consistently. And if you look really at history, we have thousands of examples that this is really not the case. People have been praying, have been very, very faithful, have been doing everything that their religion told them to do, and they were faithful deeply in their heart, and they had terrible fates. They had sickness, they had war, they had destruction, they had losing of friends, and so. And actually, the best example is the martyrs, the ones who were the most faithful, the mostly living their life only for spiritual purposes and according to spiritual laws. And then they were stoned, they were hanged, they were crucified. And so how do we make sense out of this? And of course, most people today, they say, well, this whole belief thing is anyway only for stupid people. So I create my security with a good bank account, with living the moment right as it is. I don't care for the future, I don't care for any philosophies, for any dogmas. And if I get sick, I get sick. If things don't work the way I want, that's the way it is. It's just all unpredictable, and I do what I can with retirement funds and with enjoying the moment right now to make sure I get the best out of it. So that's just the two sides. I want to talk a little bit about the side of religion, that this idea that you can create a certainty, of course, was always manifest in this great dogmatism that all religions created. And why? Just to create the sense of certainty that that's a form of security that everybody is really looking for in the first place. And now I'm giving a new perspective on this, that security is really not only impossible to achieve, as all history shows and all the martyrs show, in the sense of getting a security about your health and your money, your relationships, is impossible. So it's built into our life, in our existence, that security is impossible. So, but we have this desire for security, and why we do all these things, all these spiritual things, is really for this purpose. So what can we hope for? when we follow a spiritual path. And that's something I can say is not a belief, it's my personal experience that when you follow a spiritual path, you get more certainty. And this means you can do things that maybe other people cannot do. You can go, change your life, be out of pattern every day, do something different. Don't expect other people to provide for you. Don't stick to certain rules of society because they give a sense of security. So you can do those things the more you follow a spiritual path, because this path, really all paths, they give you more and more a sense of yourself. That's the real part of religious work, of spiritual work, that it gives you a sense of yourself. And the dogmatic part is just a crutch that more and more will fall away to the degree that you have a sense of yourself. And so, but do you get an absolute sense of security of yours? Of course, everybody hopes that he's in a state of total bliss, of infinite trust, of total certainty. And I think this is an illusion that's being projected by all spiritual teachings, that you, at a certain point, you will have total certainty. In effect, all the examples of the saints show that there is no ever a place where you can be absolutely certain and be absolutely protected and absolutely sure. I mean, just the saints particularly are the best example for this. So, but what you get, and this is a really clear experience for everybody on a spiritual path, you're more open for change. You're less stuck to a place, to certain people, to a certain profession, to certain ways of thinking, of feeling. So you get a certain sense of security that is really unattached to particular situation and events, because this is the security most people look for and create. They create a sense of security by having a place of living, a place of work, a bank account, a certain set of friends. And in fact, the less spiritual you are, the more you have to create this necessary sense of security that everybody has, with more and more material security. And when you have a minimum of spiritual prospects, you need a maximum of material security. So people who have a lot of money, in a way they would have the least to have to fear anything. They protect themselves with the most, with guards, with security, with insurances. So spirituality gives you a sense of security that is growing to the degree that you dedicate your life to this spiritual practice. And then the more you practice and the more you put into this process, the less you need these crutches of dogmatic belief and faith. So, but the New Age is starting the process from the other way around. They say, well, we abandon all dogmatism, we abandon all beliefs. Everybody is free to believe anything. They don't see that we have to start with a certain help, with a ladder, with certain crutches, of course, in the beginning, until we have this security in ourselves. So once we see this, we are more aware where we are. In fact, how much security do we have, and how much is just imagination. And you can see this always when people are in new situations. How secure are they in themselves? How much connection do they have to themselves? This is really the touchstone, the mark on how much you have practiced and how much you have given into spiritual practice. This gives you the certainty, the security, the self-awareness that frees you more and more. But understand, it will never give you absolute freedom. Actually, the opposite. You become more and more a servant, but a servant that has certainty that the end is positive, that there is a positive aim for all of this, what we are going through, that there is a purpose, there is a plan, and that the more we put into this process, we closer come to this amazing realization that there is a plan and that we get more and more certainty that we can master more and more situations in a sense of confidence, that we can talk to people with confidence, that we don't have to make everything a plan in our life, that we don't have to protect ourselves with material goods. And this is a process, it's gradual, it's never infinite, it's never perfect, it's never 100%, but this is a growing process. And the more we abandon this, the more, as was always said, we depend on something that's not worth depending on, that's material goods and spiritual and dogmatism and beliefs in every area of our life. So much from Angra dos Reis this morning, beautiful morning.